The Democrat caucus here in town, in the Senate, has chosen to shut down the government over a clean, nonpartisan funding bill. That's right, a clean, nonpartisan funding bill. We didn't ask Democrats to swallow any new Republican policies. We didn't add partisan riders. We simply asked Democrats to extend existing funding levels to allow the Senate to continue the bipartisan appropriations work that we started. And Senate Democrats said no. Why? Because far-left interest groups and far-left Democrat members wanted a showdown with the president. And so Senate Democrats have sacrificed the American people to Democrats' partisan interests. Now, I hope it will be some comfort for Americans dealing with shuttered government services to know that MoveOn.org and other far-left organizations are happy with this vote. Democrats may have chosen to shut down the government tonight, but we can reopen it tomorrow. All it takes is a handful of Democrats to join Republicans to pass the clean, nonpartisan funding bill that's in front of us. And I hope, I really hope, that some of them will join us to reopen the government, resume bipartisan appropriations work, and get back to the business of the American people. And I think that's evidenced by the American people would like to have us do. Great irony in this discussion tonight that the Democrat leader was characterizing the New York Times as a biased poll, but I think it's where the majority of the American people are. They don't want all the sideshows. They don't want hostage taking. They want their elected representatives to get down and do the work that they sent us here to do. And part of that is getting this appropriations process back on track, something that we should have done a long time ago. So I'm going to hand it over to the whip, Senator Barrasso, and then my other colleagues.
Well, the radical wing of the Democrat Party demanded that Chuck Schumer shut down the government, and he did that today. What that radical wing had told him to do was work with them through his war room. He had a war room going for the last 8 weeks to orchestrate the shutdown. But the cracks in the Democrats are already showing. When we had a vote on our proposal to keep the government open, the clean CR, right before the recess, we had 1 Democrat vote. Tonight we had 3. So the cracks are beginning to show there is bipartisan support for keeping the government open, in spite of the fact that Chuck Schumer is forcing a government shutdown, regardless of the cost, regardless of the consequences to the American people. This truly is a Democrat-owned, Chuck Schumer-owned shutdown. There's no negotiation. It's a shakedown when he asked for $1 trillion for 4 weeks. It's absurd. We're happy to see that the Democrats are already starting to break from him, and we're going to continue to offer a clean CR on the floor of the Senate to open the government for the next 7 weeks, which is what this calls for.
Senator Hogan.
So how is it that the Democrats can pass 13 continuing resolutions during the Biden administration, and now they are all voting no? Well, actually, we picked up 3, but Senator Schumer is having his caucus vote no on this CR. 13 times, 96% of the Democrats, they're passing CRs during the Biden administration, and now they can't vote for a clean CR? I mean, what's going on with that, right? And, you know, Senator Schumer says, oh, well, because there's no Democrat priorities in it. Well, there's no Republican priorities in it. It's a clean CR. So, I mean, that's a false premise right off the jump. And I hope you're asking him, wait, how does that make any sense? Final point I'd make is this. I'm on appropriations. Our leader, Leader Thune, is bringing the appropriations bills to the floor. We've passed 3 of them already with big bipartisan majorities. He's ready to bring more appropriation bills to the floor. That's called regular order. That's how we're supposed to do things around here. So what do the Democrats have? What does Senator Schumer have against regular order where all 100 senators are involved in passing appropriations bills? Because that's what this clean CR sets up. Every single senator should be saying to Senator Schumer, hey, what's the deal? Let's get these appropriation bills to the floor. Let's have regular order. Let's pass them. Both Republicans and Democrats should be asking for that because that's what serves the American people.
Will you meet with Senator Schumer now that this is shut down, or you're just gonna put the bill on the floor and just make them vote it down time and time again?
Well,
Meet with them.
if the Senator Leader Schumer wants to sit down and have a conversation, he knows where I am. We're right here. I see him on the floor. I stand 6 feet away from him. But we are going to give him additional opportunities to vote on this, on keeping it open. Yeah.
Mr. Leader, obviously the whip just mentioned, that you're starting to see cracks in Democrats. Are you having any discussions with members, maybe very quietly, to try to get more Democrats onto your side?
There are some conversations. There are Democrats who are very unhappy with the situation that they're in. And what we're saying is that we need, as I think was pointed out here, another 5. We need 8 total. It'd be nice to have a lot more than that. But until there's sort of that critical mass of people who don't want to condone the hostage taking that their leadership has endorsed and deployed, where we probably really aren't going to be ready to have a conversation. But hopefully that'll happen. This is unnecessary, avoidable, and just so uncalled for. And so I hope that we can find a path.
Is your goal to continue to hold these votes to try to peel off additional Democrats, because you've got 2 new ones tonight?
Right, and I think there, as I said, there are people there are others out there, I think, who don't want to shut down the government, but are being put in a position by their leadership that ought to make all of them very uncomfortable. So we'll see. I mean, I think that tonight was evidence that there is some movement there, and we'll allow our Democrat colleagues to have additional opportunities to vote on whether or not to keep the government open, or in the case of tomorrow now, probably to open it back up.
I know you said that you're open to working with Democrats on Affordable Care Act subsidies, which do expire at the end of this year and could hurt millions of Americans, but are your counterparts in the House?
Well, that's probably a question for the House.
But have you had conversations with the Speaker about it?
I would rather have you hear directly from him. I think everybody realizes that, and frankly, the Democrats put us in this position. The expiration date was created by them. This was supposed to be COVID-related. These are expanded Obamacare tax credits, and frankly, they're not tax credits really at all. For the most part, they're direct subsidies to insurance companies. So it needs to be reformed. And if there are Democrats out there who will recognize it needs to be reformed and are willing to work with us, I can't take the temperature for the House, but obviously there are a lot of our colleagues in both the House and Senate who recognize that COVID no longer exists. This program, if we did what the Democrats want to do, which is to extend it permanently, is a $365 billion score. So anything that's going to be done is going to have to be done with significant reforms. And but like I said, we are willing to have that conversation.
Leader Thune, on these 3 Democrats, these 3 who voted in favor of the bill tonight, is that a result of some of your conversations? And when you have these conversations with the other side, are you talking to them about trying to help cover some of these subsidies or defray the cost of Obamacare?
There are conversations going on a regular basis with which I'm familiar, and some of which I'm a party to. But we have a number of our colleagues who are being approached by their Democrat colleagues who are interested in getting out of this pickle that their leader has put them in. This is an unfortunate circumstance, and the only real victim here is the American people. This is so unnecessary and uncalled for. So hopefully they'll come to a conclusion.
Did those talks change things from last week and a half ago to the vote today?
I think that there is a recognition that the strategy that the Democrat leadership is employing here is the wrong one, which is, I think, what's changed the vote between then and now. But we'll see where it goes. I mean, we're going to have some more votes, and we'll see where the Democrats come down. I hope we have enough that change their minds that we can get this government open and responsive to the American people.
Are you open to changing the bill?
We need to keep the government open. We can talk about whatever else they want to talk about after that.